Hey there, if you're new to the channel, just behind me is the foundation that I just finished up for a cabin that we're building here on our property using trees that we cut down on this property to build our shop right over there. But that has presented a bit of an issue. So we have this big drainage ditch that runs down through here, and it's quite difficult to get the tractor across this and over there and bring in materials and just generally walk across. So in today's video, I'm going to be building a bridge across this ditch so that we can access this cabin site much easier. So let's hop on the tractor, get this other area over here cleaned up, and start figuring out how we're going to form up some concrete footings. All right, I got the laser set up behind me, and now we're gonna start working on creating two flat spots on each side that our foundation is gonna sit on. I'm just gonna try to get them roughly at the same height and plane. It just sort of looks like that the first spot I picked was exceptionally low, so I'm gonna pick a different spot and redo this so that I'm not having to take a ton of dirt away. Let's see how Dylan's ultra calibrated eye is today. Think it'll be dead nuts. That already looks high, but that's plenty close enough for what we're doing. I actually own a packer, but my dad is borrowing it, so I'm gonna hop in the truck, go get it now that he's done with it, and use it here because it'd be very convenient right now. All right, let's give this compactor a go. Now we just gotta get the other side looking like this one. All right, I got some of these forms from the cabin foundation, and we're just gonna stack some of these up. And I think 2 of them is gonna be just the right amount, but what I wanna do here is have enough room for water to flow under this bridge, but I want the bridge itself to not be way higher than the ground up there so that there doesn't have to be a big ramp. So if I measure this looks like we're roughly like 8 inches below grade, give or take. And the entire combination of beam and deck structure is gonna be 10 inches total. And it'll probably be 12 because there might be some spacers and things. So we're gonna be just above grade level if we do 2 of these. And we'll still have, you know, whatever this ends up being, 11 inches of water flow underneath, which I think it'll be enough. It doesn't matter that they're actually level, but it will look better if they're level. So they're really, really close, which is plenty good enough. Although level isn't that important, them being square is definitely important. So I'm gonna do some measuring to make sure we get these things just right. What in the world? No freaking way. There's no way I got that lucky. There is no way. That, 33 and a... What in the world? Yo, that is absolutely dead nuts. Just eyeballing, just dead nuts. How? All right, everything is formed up and ready for concrete, and it would be amazing if I could get this poured tonight. So we're gonna run over, grab the tractor, grab some bags of concrete, get the mud mixer over here, and we're gonna see if we can't beat this sun, which is going down fast. All right, folks, this is the last pour. Sun's going down, but we're gonna make it. I gotta hurry up and clean up, but I'll see you guys tomorrow when we take these out of the form. All right, folks, it's the next day, and while we're waiting to take off the forms of the bridge, we're gonna start milling the lumber for the bridge. So let's hop on the tractor, go grab some logs, and use our Woodland Mills sawmill to create all the beams and the decking for this bridge. This is longleaf pine, and it has very few knots in it, so it's a great choice for building something like a bridge where the structural integrity is key. Well folks, that is all 3 of the beams we need for this bridge, and all we have to do now is do some decking. But all 3 out of 1 log. We're off to a pretty good start. Obviously this one over here has a bit of wane to it, but we'll put the wane side down and we'll put that one in the middle where you can't see it. It won't actually affect anything. But these are big girthy 3x10s, and although I need to go through and inspect them and make sure I don't see anything that's an obvious defect that would cause structural problems, but I'm gonna look through them, but surface level they look pretty darn good. So we're gonna get these set aside. We're gonna get all those junk put in a burn pile over there and keep rolling. So for structural lumber especially, we want to make sure that the log is level. And what I mean by that is that the center of the tree is level, because oftentimes tree trunks taper as they get to the top. So if we just lay it flat on here, whether there's a knot in the way or the tree has an extreme taper, we could be cutting across the grain and not, I guess, perpendicular to it. I might be saying that wrong, but we're not cutting parallel to the center of the tree, essentially, meaning that we're creating a weaker board. So the easiest way I know to get it level is I put a board across here and I measure to the center of the tree, which in this instance we're at about 5.5, and when I measured down there we were at 6.5. So this side of the tree needs to come up a full inch. So this is a quick, easy way of doing that. This little device here is called a toe board, which is just a fancy way of saying it's a little miniature scissor jack or scissor lift. And I'm just going to lift that board up an inch and recheck. Now we're just about perfect. So now I can just clamp it down. It's very fast and easy to do that. When I flip the board, I'll do this again, just to, again, make sure that we're cutting along the center of the tree. It always amazes me how bad one of these logs can look until you cut into it and it looks perfectly fine. Now, you'll notice that there's bugs on these logs and that there's bugs in them, but the good news is that once you cut them and they start drying, aka being used or stacked and drying, the bugs don't like them anymore because they're not holding moisture. So they tend to leave or die, and then the decay stops. So as long as you catch it like not too far along, then structurally speaking, you're perfectly fine. All right, folks, that's the last cut and the last board. I got every single thing we need to build this bridge, hopefully, in 5 logs, totaling just a little bit over 300 board feet here for those of you that have bought or purchased lumber in board feet. It's quite a bit of lumber, quite pricey if you were to go buy that from the store, and I did that in a few hours. So we got all of this staged and ready to go for tomorrow when we start building this bridge. I'm often asked how I got into building and doing stuff, and it actually came from electronics on projects like this, which is a portable Nintendo 64, well, half of a portable Nintendo 64. I made a bunch of these in my childhood, and I learned how to do soldering and how to build and construct things on doing crazy projects like this as a kid. In fact, I still remember saving up all my money to go down to Radio Shack and buy my first soldering iron, and that thing was kind of a piece of junk. I could have only have dreamed of having something as cool as this portable soldering station from iFixit, which is today's sponsor. This right here is iFixit Smart Soldering Iron, which is a 100-watt USB-C, very compact soldering iron. Now this thing can heat up from 200 to 420 degrees Celsius, and when it does that, it'll do it in under 5 seconds and give you a little power indicator light here to tell you when it is either hot or cool. What makes this a smart soldering iron is it has an internal gyroscope, so it can detect if a fall happens or a drop to help keep you safe, as well as it can detect when it's under load so it can deliver power when you need it and otherwise lower down the power so that you're not burning up the tips as quickly. Guys, these things are in high demand. They're on pre-order right now and they're shipping them out as quickly as they possibly can. If you'd like to get your hands on one, you can check the links in the description below. I love supporting companies like iFixit because they open up the doors to so many people to learn how to fix and use their hands to create things. And it's that sort of energy and drive that got me into building stuff that has led to such cool projects that you've seen here on our channel. So I'm so grateful to have them on as a channel sponsor. Their mission and my mission align perfectly, and so I'm just really grateful to have them aboard. Thank you so much, iFixit, for sponsoring this week's video. Let's get back into it. All right, folks, it's the next day and it's time to pull these form boards off and start framing up this bridge. Hi there, Miss Molly. You tired, girl?
Yeah.
Just a couple more days, huh?
A few more days.
And he's coming out.
One way or another.
What do you think about my bridge set up here? Got it looking nice.
Yeah, it looks real good. Have a little bridge. I can already tell where the kids are gonna be getting muddy.
Mm-hmm. Let me crawl underneath this thing.
Probably.
Look at that. That looks pretty dang good. Looks like a little bitty dam or something.
Looks
pretty sweet.
legit.
I'm saying. It's like building a miniature like, it's like really building a big, what am I trying to say? A miniature version of a real bridge.
Yeah.
As part of our junk pile, which we have plenty of, there was a bunch of big giant pieces of concrete, and that's all on the front of the property. But I dug some up and I brought it over here, and we're gonna use it, because I need to use it, to make like a, I don't know,
a wall,
a riprap sort of bouldery area down here to help eliminate erosion. It's a good use for it.
a bulkhead.
Well, not really. Well, I mean, kind of.
Something.
Yeah, that's good. Not lots of weeds in here though. I'm really over the moon about the way this whole thing is turning out. I think that looks really good with that concrete in there, and well, that was basically just some junk in a pile that's now being used for this. So that's pretty cool. So now we are ready to start building a bridge. So I am going to get some treated boards. These are old deck boards that my dad had that were ripped off of an old deck. So again, reusing stuff. We're gonna put those down first so that our beams aren't sitting on the concrete. We're going to cut some beams to length, and we're gonna get those into place and get those nice and squared up. So that's the first step. Let's get to it. All right, folks, here are the beams. I actually struggled to get enough, even though I cut plenty of extra, and that's because after closely looking at them, I identified some problems. And you'll see that these aren't perfect. Like, there's a bit of wane right here and even back here, but that's really not going to matter because there's still enough bearing area there and it's not going to affect it structurally. However, there is one thing that will absolutely affect it, and it was in most of my other beams that were long enough, but it'll work well for decking. Let me see if I can find some. Well, I'll have to show you once I pull these out and start putting them on for decking because they're already on the bottom of the pile. But essentially they had shake in them, which is a crack that runs down basically the entire length of the board. It's hard to tell if it's there, but when you start putting loads on the board, it will easily split down that crack. Thankfully these are lengthwise, so it won't matter from a decking perspective, but those cracks happen because of probably hurricane damage from around here. The tree getting violently shook, it can put a crack inside of the lumber. All right, folks, we're ready for deck boards. I got these treated deck boards put here on the end. This is going to create sort of a retaining wall so that no moisture gets to these beams. We're going to backfill this with a little bit of, probably a little bit of dirt and a lot of gravel. And then we're going to, but before we do that, we're going to put one deck board, which I'm calling them deck boards. They're gigantic, they're 3 inches thick. But we're going to put one on each side just to lock this in because I've already got it square. We're not fastening it to the concrete yet. We will put a bracket here and fasten it right there into the concrete, but this concrete's still pretty not dry. So we're gonna wait to do that until that's had like a week or so to cure. I'd like to backfill it now so I still have access underneath in case I want to put some more rocks under there or just see something I want to do. Before I fully cover it up, it'd be nice to be able to do all that without these boards in the way. That wasn't until I realized all the boards are right in the way of putting gravel in, so we do need to put them on here. We just won't fasten them down. The gravel ramp approaches are almost done. They need some fine tuning, and I'm sure they're going to settle a bit and we'll need to add a bit more to them. But I'm just sitting here, sun's about to go down, about to pack up, but the tractor's just right there. The bridge is just right there. And we built this whole thing because we wanted the tractor to go over there. Thinking what I'm thinking? Hope I did my calculations right. Oh yeah! I don't think she flexes at all. Got all the boards fastened down this morning, and I got one side cut off already, and man, it is looking so cool. And I just wanted to address something that I knew was going to be a comment, which is, Dylan, isn't this thing gonna just rot away because it's untreated material? And can you really build with wet wood? Well, first of all, yes, it's going to rot away. Everything rots away, even treated stuff. But this stuff is hefty. I've reduced the amount of moisture that can get to it, and I think it'll last a really long time. And the best part about this is that it cost me little to nothing to build this bridge, and it will cost me little to nothing to replace it in the future if I ever have to. But honestly, I think it's going to last a very long time. Second thing, can you build with green wood? Absolutely, you can build with green wood. There are some limitations of building with green wood, but something like this, beams like this, you'd be hard pressed to get beams like this that were, quote, treated and kiln dried. Most outdoor wood is not kiln dried, except for KDAT, which is kiln dried, whatever. But that's usually reserved for trim boards and that sort of stuff. So yeah, this is just super common. These boards are going to shrink. It's not going to be a problem. And yeah, it's looking great. Already got these entry ramps all cleaned up and made looking nice, but I want to make sure before I call this a wrap that the lawnmower easily goes up and down these ramps and doesn't get hung up or anything, because I'm going to need that over there. Let's measure the beam deflection. Alright, got great news here for the bridge. We had about 3,900 pounds and tractor sitting on it right there, and we were only using about half of our allowable deflection in the beams. Measured it, we're about 1/8 of an inch. It was a little less than 1/8, but I'm rounding up to be on the safe side. And we've got about 1/4 of an inch of allowable deflection in the beams over the span. So doing really well, and the max I can put on that tractor is another 1,000 pounds, and that'd be like holding basically the biggest log it could carry with everything else on there. So we're gonna have a huge safety margin. It's gonna be plenty strong enough for what I'm doing with it, which is great. Just texted Molly to come on outside and check out our finished bridge out here. This is a busy day for her because tomorrow at 5 a.m. we got to be at the hospital for a scheduled C-section of our little baby boy. So very exciting. Well, little sad that it has to end up being a C-section, but that's fine. All that matters is that we get a healthy boy and mom afterwards. So she's coming out here. Let's get her reaction.
Look at it.
Is it precious? Is it all your dream?
Yes.
Little Pinteresty little bridge for you?
Look at it. We have a bridge.
The concrete really does it, doesn't it? The
rock.
The rock down there really adds a lot to it.
I love it.
She's very stout.
I was about to say those are some thick boards.
Well, folks, the bridge is done, looking great. And in other news, Molly's belly is gone.
We have our baby.
You want to introduce him?
This is Owen, currently milk drunk. He's passed out.
That's right, our family has grown to 3 of us now with the newest little addition, baby Owen. He's very healthy, very chunky. He's growing very fast, and
I know.
we couldn't be happier.
I know. Oh, he's waking up. Oh, or maybe he just said hi.
Molly unfortunately has had a couple of complications with her C-section, and so we're working through that. Be patient with us, and we're getting through this as best as we can. Molly's a real trooper. She's been an incredible mom this first week, and I'm just so grateful to have both of these two in my life. So if you will leave a nice comment down for Molly and little baby Owen down below, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.